Now back to Property Source Radio with your hosts, Brenna and Pat, on Sports Radio 950 ESPN.
You're listening to Property Source Radio, just like she said. 222-6397, live from High Falls in Rochester, New York. If you're looking for open houses this weekend, PropertySourceRadio.com. Click on WNY Open House to see this weekend's opens. But don't spend too much time there because you're going to have to come see Pat and I at the BCB Home Fair Expo. We'll be giving away some free Property Source newspapers out at the Dome today. So stop out right after the show. We're going to head out there. God only knows how long it'll take us to get there in this weather, but we'll handle it, right?
I think so. And I'm going to be signing autographs, too.
Pat will be signing autographs, folks, so don't miss it. Don't miss it. And don't forget to add PropertySourceRadio.com to your favorites. It's a great way to check out our home front, ask questions, suggest ideas for topics you'd like to hear us cover, and look at Pat's picture. Pat and I are live in the studio with Warren Seeley from Nothnagel, Greece. Is that right?
You got it.
All right. And you've been giving us some great information on the foreclosures and short sales and the differences between the two. And you mentioned to me over break about a variance I want to talk to you about because I've been complaining about my deed restrictions in my neighborhood, which honestly I've never seen, which it's quite obvious if you take a look at my backyard, but my husband's very well aware of them. And every time I say I want to do this or I want to do that, no, you can't do that. It's against the whatever deed restrictions. It's not a neighborhood association or anything.
Right. And what you can do is you can apply, you go to the town for a variance. What you're looking for is probably a variance for the deed restriction, and they get to post this nice sign in your front yard if you apply for one, and then all your neighbors get to come to a little meeting, and they can either, if they want to object to it. If they don't object, then everybody can sign off on it. It happens quite often where there's a deck or some type of a fence that needs to go up or something, but it's just got to go through a process, usually with the town. You just say, I want to get a variance so I can put a shed up. And if your neighbors don't complain or object, usually it'll go.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
okay.
It's just a little bit of a process.
That's good to know because I just thought it was no.
Right.
No, forget it. And what about the laundry line? Can I do that too?
Yeah, do it at the same time.
Because going green and everything, I think that's just the most ridiculous law.
Well, that's a good argument for the variance.
Yeah, trying to save the environment. We are taking some calls at 222-6397. We've got a caller on hold for Warren. He's got a question about some of the foreclosures in our area.
And I think we should put Bob on the air right now and ask your question, Bob.
Yeah, I was wondering, where can I find a list of foreclosed homes in Rochester?
Well, it's not necessarily as a list, but it's something that we can we sort through them all. We can tell which ones are foreclosures and which ones aren't. If there's something that you need, because short foreclosures are not, let's say you're looking at a $75,000 home, sometimes the foreclosure is not the better bet. Sometimes you're better off just buying something that's done. So we kind of go through both. But I can definitely get you a list of ones that are in foreclosure.
Yeah, basically real estate agents or realtors can provide those lists. I mean, for example, Warren Seeley's, he's well versed in those, so I would suggest contacting him. He can provide the information for you. Maybe weed through with you before he just drums up a list. You know what I mean? It might be a little bit more of a narrowed down focus list instead of a wide range of a mess. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a pen, Bob?
Yep.
Here, why don't you give out your number, Warren, and Bob, give Warren a call.
Yeah, give me a ring, and I can definitely email you something or get you a list that you can pick up.
Okay, your name is Warren?
Yep.
Okay.
And you can reach me at 507 3624.
3624.
Thanks, Bob.
And wait, Bob.
Yes.
Don't call Warren until you come out to the BCB show and visit Pat and I.
Tonight.
Today.
You going to be there tonight?
No.
We're going to be there in about a half an hour.
Yeah.
I won't be there till tonight.
Oh, darn it. All right.
That's
Well,
all
thanks for calling into our show anyway. We hope you like our show, and we hope you'll keep listening.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Pat and I are live in the studio with Warren Seeley. We were just talking to Bob. He had a great question about a list of foreclosures. Kind of pulls it back to what we were talking about before, going online or buying a kit or something like that. Which he may have been thinking about doing, watching an infomercial or something along those lines, and then said, oh, well, maybe I can just, call a local realtor and get the list there.
Oh, yeah, right, Bob. And it's free, Bob.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me if I want some serious advice? Could you give us some serious advice on what to do if a homeowner might be behind a little bit? what they can do to take steps to maybe correct or go down the right path if they have to bail.
Right. Well, that was one of the things we're kind of hitting on about that percentage. That I mean, if you're 3 months behind and you're not going to be able to do the sale out, sooner or later it's going to get foreclosed on. The best thing, in my opinion, is to try and get rid of it. Either sell it at market value, or if you can't get market value, work out something that with the bank where you can do a short sale. And the good thing about a short sale is the bank usually pays the realtor fees. And also, it's going to clear your name. You're not going to have that debt hanging over you. Your credit is going to be cleared a lot faster. And if you get foreclosed on, that could affect you for 7 years.
Not to mention the karma.
Yes. There's a little karma there. And it's a lot. It's right, like doing the right thing. Yeah. It really is.
That's what
Absolutely.
I'm talking about. We have a call from John. He's been holding on the line to talk to you, Warren. So we're going to interrupt you briefly. We can talk to John. Are you on the air, John?
Yes, I am.
Thanks for calling in. How are you today?
Good, thank you. How you guys doing?
Good, thank you.
Good.
Did you learn
Good.
something new on Property Source Radio today?
Yeah, I'm just calling in because I'm involved with new construction from a builder's perspective. And from the deed restriction point of view, I think the information given is not accurate from a standpoint of, did you, for yourself too, is a big difference between a deck variance and a deed restriction. So if you and Webster there, I don't know, have you bought a new home? Is this a new home for you?
Well, no, I've been there 5 years. It's not a extremely new neighborhood at all. It's been around for quite a while, but there's just these few things that apparently are restricted from the deed that I don't agree with.
Yeah, but on the new construction side, I mean, if they're a deed restriction like you're talking about, in-ground pool, or those are things that you really can't go to the town to get a variance for. Those are controlled by not the association, but of course the subdivision of the neighbors, and they were put in place. And you, as a buyer, should have seen that or got information of that prior to making a decision to buy that.
So that's it.
Yeah.
I can't necessarily.
Well, you can, but if your neighbors, it's more in-house control, I guess, from the neighborhood and what they're doing.
Oh, so John, you think if I'm friendly with my neighbors and I buy them all a case, I can throw up that shed and no one will complain?
Well, you could try. You could try that, but I don't know if that'll happen. Depending on your neighborhood and what their view of the neighborhood originally, what it was on the onset and what you were thinking about.
Excellent. Well, that's good advice. Thanks so much for calling into the show.
All right, thanks.
We'll talk to you soon.
All righty, bye-bye.
Bye now.
That's good information. I love it. Gotta get that shed. Gotta get that laundry line. It's going to happen.
I'm telling you.
My neighbors love me. Are you kidding? I got the news out there at 5 a.m. Everybody wonders what's going on at my house. My husband leaves for work. All the construction workers come in, 2-3 guys at a time.
There's entertainment value there, definitely. If
They
not
love me.
gossip time,